Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here at Salem Hills on my Ripmo AF, and I'm going to show you how to get up a rock feature like this. So let me show you some of the issues with doing this, and then I'll show you how to get up it. I'll show you a couple different ways, and probably the slickest way to do it if you have the skill set for it. So I'll show you the extreme close-up. First thing is if you just hit your front wheel into this, you're gonna endo. That'll be fun. The next thing you need to be able to do is, if you do know how to pull up your front wheel, you want to set it right up here, is you're gonna have very little clearance. Let's just say you're running pedals flat. Very little clearance there. Even with a suspension bike, you might even compress the suspension enough for the sprocket to hit. So that's another issue. Then if you get here and you're going too slow and you think you're going to power up it, the pedal, well, usually it's back here, the pedal will hit the rock. So those are all the issues we're going to try to avoid. So you want to approach the rock with your pedals level. As always, as you approach all obstacles, the foot forward is always your comfortable foot forward. Everybody's a little different. Some like left foot forward, some like right foot forward. And then you want to be in your attack position. Now we already know we can't just ride into this rock. It isn't going to work. I don't care how much suspension you have. And even if somehow your suspension did compress this, it is really bad for your bike. So the first thing you need to do is watch my video on how to pull up the front wheel, because that's what we're going to do here. This is why you want to learn those basic skills. Because right about here, you want to pull up your front wheel and place it right on the top of this rock. From here you have different options, but you absolutely have to do the front wheel lift. And then you could just allow yourself to have enough speed and momentum and just hit it and go up. That's one way of doing it. Requires more speed. Another way of doing it is, if you're going slower, is to pedal to go up it. But if you do that, you're going to need to back your pedals up, what I call ratcheting. So when you come up to the rock, right as you pull up your front wheel, you're going to want to ratchet your pedals way back here in the vertical position and get your power stroke, because otherwise by the time you get here, your pedal's going to hit the rock. We'll try that one. I'll show you how to power up it if you don't have the speed. Then there's the smoothest technique, and you don't even have to be going that fast to do it. And this is the one where I actually have a video where I show you how to lift the rear wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my front wheel on here, and then I'm going to do the first part of popping my front wheel is going to be the row, push with my legs, pull with my arms, get the front wheel up, and then the anti-row where I push with my arms and I compress with my legs, and I'll literally lift the rear wheel up so it doesn't even hit the rock, at least in the front face of it. It'll hit right up here. So let's do those three different techniques. Just like I thought on that one, my chain ring hit. So all I did was pop my front wheel up and then push the bike through, and you could hear my chain ring hit. So I don't like that one. That's a chain smasher.
Alright, let's look at this one in slow motion. I pop my front wheel up, back wheel hits, but you can see the suspension compress. So right here, you can see the fork is compressed, the rear end is compressed, so that's why my chain ring hit. Even though when I was holding the bike and I rolled the bike up, but the chain ring cleared. If you have full suspension or even just front suspension, which pretty much every mountain bike has one or the other or both, you're going to have this issue where your suspension compresses, and when your suspension compresses, your bottom bracket height lowers, which then can cause your chainring to hit. So just because you walk your bike or check to see if your bike will clear something, that doesn't mean while you're riding it, your, you know, chainring, pedals, things like that are going to clear like you think they will.
Do the slow power up it. Wow, that was a lot of work. I don't know how many watts I had to put out to do it that way, but it's definitely an energy waster.
Okay, watch this one in slow motion. I pop up the front wheel and then I have to torque really hard right here and just use a lot of energy to force the bike up and over that rock. Let's watch it again. As I come up, I pull up the front wheel, and then right here I have to make sure my pedal is going to clear, and then I come forward, and right here is where I'm losing all my speed and putting in tons of effort. So I'm not getting a lot of gain from my energy because I'm just literally almost stalling out and coming to a stop. So watch what happens after I get to the top of this rock. I come up, and then right here I kind of lose my balance and almost stall out. That's not what you want. So even though this technique works, it's just not ideal. You can certainly power up things, and maybe if you have like a hillside or you're climbing and you have a few rocks to climb up, you're gonna almost have to use this technique because you don't really have a choice. But in a case like this, I think this next technique is much better.
So that one, I wasn't going really any faster than I was going when I did the power pedal up one. But I can tell you it took way less energy to get up the rock. What I want to do now is I want to do the hop up the rock, but I want to come at it fast so you can see how quick I can just go boom boom right up the rock. Dude, that's the ticket right there. I don't have to worry about my sprocket smashing into the rock. I maintain my momentum. Nothing slows me down because I'm not hitting the face of the rock, not with my front wheel, not with my back wheel.
Okay, let's slow this one down, and I'm going to go over a lot more detail on this one. So I pick up my front wheel, pick up my back wheel, and see how far back I am, and then keep going. So the key to this one is your approach right here. This is with all of these techniques, is I'm targeting where I'm going to put my front wheel. Look where I'm looking right at the top of the rock. So that's my placement of my front wheel, and I'm already in the proper position to pull up the front wheel here. I'm going to shift my weight back and pull up the front wheel. Boom, right there. I set my front wheel right where I want it, right at the very top edge of that rock. So now I'm planning my next move, and I'm in the perfect position to lunge my bike forward. But as I'm lunging my bike forward, I'm going to lift the rear wheel. So right now I am doing what's called the row. I'm pushing with my legs, pulling with my arms to get my front wheel up there. And now that I'm in this position where I need to be, I'm going to do the anti-row, which is going to be pushing the arms forward and lifting the legs up. And by doing that, I'm going to lift the rear wheel. So you definitely need to watch my videos on how to lift the front wheel and how to lift the rear wheel, because those will help you do this very thing right here. And now I lift the rear wheel right here. People always ask me in my skills sessions, why do I teach people how to pop up the rear wheel? So one of the things I teach is I teach how to pop up the front wheel, and then I teach how to pop up the rear wheel, and I also have 2 videos independent of each one of those things. This is why right here, because if you want to get up something and you don't want to hit the face of that object and you want to maintain your flow and your energy, this is how you do it right here. All the techniques that you do here are also very similar to what you do for the bunny hop. You have the row, pulling on the handlebars, pushing with the feet, getting the front wheel up, and then the anti-row, pushing forward on the handlebars, lifting your feet to get the back wheel up. Super slick, go watch my videos on how to lift the front wheel and how to lift the rear wheel, and then, you know, start with something like a curb and then take it to like a little bit bigger object, and then, you know, eventually take it to something larger like this rock. Notice how as I come through this, look where my weight ends up. The whole reason why I'm way over the back of the bike like this is because I did the anti-row. The anti-row is pushing the bike forward. I literally like lunge the bike forward as I come up, and that's what helps get the back wheel up, and it's also what helps propel the bike forward. And the nice thing about this is that as I ride out here, I don't lose any speed. I don't lose any momentum. You can see that I just, you know, ride and maintain the same speed I had before I even got to the rock. This is the high speed one in slow motion. Does that make sense? High speed in slow motion. Same technique, it's just I execute it much quicker. Let's watch that at regular speed. The key thing to notice on this one is that I didn't lose any momentum whatsoever. I pop my front wheel, pop my back wheel, and just keep on riding as if the rock wasn't even there.
You'll notice the little lunge I make as I do it, like I talked about in the voiceover. So definitely learn these techniques, and the most important one to learn is a hop front wheel, hop back wheel with all that technique. Row, anti-row. Awesome. Appreciate you watching my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.